Welcome to my channel. My name is Rhea, and in this video we are going to talk about apple cider vinegar and how it can help with fat burn and weight loss. But before we begin, I do request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. I also have another channel where I post exercises that you can do from home without any equipment. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description box below. So now let's get started. But before we get into apple cider vinegar, I want to say that the most effective way to burn fat, lose weight, go through a body recomposition is through a proper diet and exercise, right? Things like apple cider vinegar or other things can be additional add-ons, right? By themselves, they will not get the results that something like a proper diet and exercise routine will get. Apple cider vinegar can make a good addition to a healthy diet and proper exercise routine to improve the results that you might want. So one of the ways in which apple cider vinegar works is that it reduces the pace of digestive emptying. That means it slows down the rate at which food exits our body, right? Which also means that food sits in our stomach for much longer with apple cider vinegar. Now that doesn't sound like a very good thing, but from the point of view of weight loss and fat burn, that is a good thing. And that's because when there's food in our system, when our stomach is not emptying as fast and there's food in the system, we feel full, right? Our stomach does not feel empty, our stomach feels full, and this in turn can lead to us eating less because we're feeling full, and that in turn can lead to weight loss and fat burn. So that's the first way in which ACV can help with weight loss and fat burn. But here I would like to say that if you're someone suffering from a health condition, right, that does slow down the digestive emptying of your stomach, then it's best to avoid ACV. The second way in which ACV can help with weight loss and fat burn is that it can lower insulin levels, right? Insulin is a hormone in our body, and if you want to know more about how to reduce insulin levels in the body, you can watch this video here. I'll put that in the link as well. Now, coming back to ACV and insulin, so it does reduce insulin levels, right? And insulin is a hormone in the body, and one of the main responsibilities of insulin is to store food, right? And it can also store food as fat. So in a way, insulin does lead to fat storage. And what ACV does is it reduces insulin levels. So when there's low insulin in the body, our body is not storing, right? It's not storing anything, including fat. So that's another way. And keeping in line with this way, it can also make the body insulin sensitive. Now, if you're someone who's insulin resistant, right, it can help improving insulin sensitivity, and that in turn can lead to better weight management and fat management. So the second way to sum it up is that ACV can reduce insulin levels, thereby reducing the tendency to store fat and leading to better weight management and fat management. The third way in which ACV can help us with weight loss and fat burn is through the acetic acid present in apple cider vinegar. Right now, acetic acid can prevent fat accumulation, fat deposition, right? And that in itself is a big deal, because if it can prevent fat deposition, then we're not storing fat, and that's good from a losing fat, losing weight perspective. Right now, the last way in which ACV can help with weight loss, fat burn is by reducing blood glucose levels, right? Blood glucose levels are important when we are trying to manage our weight. So ACV can help us with controlling these blood glucose levels, and this is especially useful if you're having a high carbohydrate meal, right? Taking a little bit of apple cider vinegar can help with better blood sugar management along with carbohydrates. So in that way, it can help with weight loss and fat burn. Now, these are the ways in which it is effective. However, as a reminder, the most important way is through exercise and diet. Now let's talk about how one can use this, how one can consume ACV. Right, so ACV is a very potent substance, so it needs to be diluted, and usually taking 1 tablespoon, or some even take 1 teaspoon, but generally between a teaspoon and a tablespoon in 1 glass of water, right, and drinking that. Now there are different times that suit different people with ACV, right? A lot of people can tolerate apple cider vinegar 1 spoon in a glass of water on an empty stomach. However, a lot of people can't, right? So one option is to take it empty stomach in the morning. The second option is to take it before a meal, right, about 30 minutes before a meal. And if that's also not working, if you're feeling acidic with that as well, the other option is taking it after a meal. And because there's food in a system, taking it after a meal can lower the tendency of feeling acidic. Personally, I cannot tolerate ACV on an empty stomach. I cannot have it before a meal. The way it works for me is usually after a meal, right? So those are the 3 times that you can have it: on an empty stomach, 30 minutes before a meal, or if you have a tendency of getting highly acidic and not feeling comfortable in your belly, then having it after a meal can be a good way. Now let's talk about some of the side effects of ACV, right? We always talk about the fat burning effects and the weight loss and all that stuff, but what about the side effects? So there are 2 main side effects. These are not the only side effects, but in this video I will cover the 2 main ones. The first one is that if you're drinking ACV, make sure to drink it with a straw, right? Because ACV can erode the tooth enamel, right? It can cause issues with the tooth enamel. So you want to drink it with a straw, and you want to drink it in a way that you have the most minimal contact with your teeth and ACV, right? That ACV does not have much contact with your teeth. The second side effect of ACV is that it can mess up the potassium levels in the body, right? It can lower potassium levels. So that's also something to consider, especially if you're fasting, especially if you're on low carb, because when you're fasting and when you're on low carb and when you're not paying attention to your electrolytes like sodium and potassium, and you take ACV, that can create problems, right? So you want to be mindful of your teeth. You want to be mindful of the potassium levels in your body while consuming ACV. So the goal with this video was to give you some ways in which ACV can help with fat loss. But that being said, can you lose weight? Can you burn fat without ACV? Definitely. What's the best way to burn fat and lose weight? Diet and exercise. ACV is a great addition if you can tolerate it, if you are mindful of the side effects. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and there are other videos on my channel. If you'd like to take a look, you can, and I do request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And now I will see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.